So, well, viewers, this is me, Brian Anthony Thomas, joining from Newsx. Now, we are joined by a very special guest. Precisely, we are joined by Lata Pada ji, who is a Bharatnatyam dancer, and she is also a choreographer, who unfortunately lost her husband and her daughter, two daughters, in the 1985 Air India 1985 Air India 182 bombing that is also called the Kanishka. Welcome to Newsx, ma'am. I can
Thank you, Brian.
understand what it must have happened at that point of time, what you must have gone through. And to start the discussion, I have the first question for you. Now, 40 years have passed. This is the 40th anniversary. Do you feel you have closure now at this point of time?
No, I don't have closure, but I have acceptance uh, that, you know, this indeed is something that has transformed my life and it's given me a new purpose. But closure, no, because on a personal level, there are far too many memories that are difficult to accept on a daily basis. There's also difficult because of the nature of the Air India bombing and that it was not accidental or due to mechanical failure, but it was deliberately planned, financed, and executed in Canada and against Canadians. So that part of the closure will never happen because the trial was a fiasco. It was a travesty of justice where the two main accused were acquitted. And so like I said, for the families on a personal front, we're still struggling with many questions. But I think many of us have learned how to accept the loss and to try to make our lives more meaningful.
And, ma'am, also, can you remember what was the last conversation you had with your family after the very tragedy that has happened?
Well, the last conversation actually was a quite a strange one because I had left 2 weeks earlier on the Air India flight to uh, to go to Bombay, but that was the flight that was could not take off because it had engine trouble, and so the flight was grounded in Toronto for 3 days, and I lived about 5 hours from Toronto. So I spoke to my family and my husband saying that, look, I'm just going to come back to Sudbury because we can all then travel together because this flight is already delayed. But just as I was leaving the airport hotel to go to take the bus back to Sudbury, an Air India official met me and he said, "Where are you going?" And I said, "Look, I'm heading back home and I'll travel with my family." And he said, "No, no, no, no. It's confirmed. The flight is now leaving tonight. So you can keep your plans." And if you remember, that was the fifth engine that the Kanishka had was also carrying on this flight.
And also, ma'am, clearly, Babbar Khalsa is still active in countries like Canada. They even the mastermind itself, who is the mastermind of this very bombing. Do you want Canada to act against them in a stronger way?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's, unfortunately, they have infiltrated the political system, and every party in Canada has some element of extremist ideologies by their MPs. Uh, and I think, and they show the support for them. So the political will has to be there to to do everything to not support them and not to and to be more vigilant about the kind of activities that they engage in.
And clearly, ma'am, Canada Police has also, identified one of the main suspects itself, known as Mr. X. Now, do you hope to get your closure soon? Because you've clearly said that you've not got your closure. So, do you hope to get that very soon?
Well, I don't think it'll make a big difference. He played a very small part in the conspiracy. I think he was only involved with testing the bomb. As far as I know, I don't know who this mystery person is. No, it's not. It's certainly not something that'll satisfy us.
And ma'am, also clearly, what is your appeal to the Indian government side itself?
Well, I think the new Prime Minister Carney and Prime Minister Modi ji have met, and even though it's not public knowledge, I'm sure they've discussed the cooperation that's going to go on between their investigative police security agencies to make sure that we are not being held hostage by this kind of um, accusing India, and whereas India and Canada really want to normalize their relationship, they've always had a strong bond, and I hope that and I'm sure they're planning to return to that and deal with this at the same time.
And ma'am, my very last question to you would be the current Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. He has indicated the fact that he wants to work with India in bringing these terrorists or these terrorists into custody and also give the people to justice. Now, what is your message would be for the Canadian Prime Minister side?
Well, I think I think he's quite aware of the danger not just of the Khalistan movement, but other extremist ideologies going on in Canada. They're going to be completely committed to making sure that that gets diffused. And there is no place in Canada for this, call for a homeland that is, that is being sought by them, which is utopian as far as I'm concerned. So I think both Canada and India will work in greater cooperation to make sure that they deal with this situation.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, ma'am. So this was Lata Paraji who spoke to us exclusively for Newsx. Stay tuned for watching more such updates.
For more such videos, subscribe to the Newsx YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.